This video has been a long time coming. Before we get started with the video, let me just say thank y'all for 3.5k. I really do appreciate the love. It's a lot of fun making videos. Let's waste no more time, let's get into the guide. The very first thing that we're actually gonna have to talk about regarding Choso is his Orbless state. I find that a lot of Choso guys don't really address this state of Choso, even though this is where he spawns as. When you begin the match as Choso, you're far away from the opponent and you have no orbs and no ult meter. This is Choso at his weakest. This is him with nothing but the clothes on his back. And in this state, he's very easily the worst character in the game. I find that in ranked, whenever I fight against enemy Chosos, the biggest pitfall that these less experienced Choso players face is that they struggle to traverse this Orbless state. Not even in terms of just neutral, but in terms of the safety of their combos as well. Not knowing how to combo safely with Orbless Choso will get you punished really hard. And so, how do you use Orbless Choso? To begin with, your goal should be getting enough ult meter to pop an R special. This sounds pretty obvious, but I know a lot of Choso players like to try and get as much damage as they can off as their Orbless state, even though it's just not relevant. The amount of potential damage you can get as Orbless Choso is not worth the risk when the opponent has their full evasive meter, and is liable to punish you at any moment. It's very unlikely that Choso will get orbs in just one engagement, so you're better off just playing for safety instead. This is done by using the safest moves out of your M1s. Grounded, Flowing Red Scale, and Blood Edge are very difficult to evasive punish after they've hit the opponent. They'll be essentially the only moves that you use in your Orbless state. The very basic combo that I think most people should use is just 3 M1s into your Flowing Red. This is a solid 23 damage that'll make it so you only need 12 more damage to get your orbs off. That means you only need 4 M1s worth of damage. The alternative route, and what I usually like to do myself, is uppercut surfing into Blood Edge. This is technically evasive punishable, but people aren't going to react to this. Nobody ever evasives right away on uppercut, and with Blood Edge being largely safe on hit, it ends up being a safe 25 damage instead of 23. This is good because now you only need 10 more damage, which is only 3 M1s worth of damage. After you've got your damage in, press that R special and immediately get out of that Orbless state as soon as you can. Before we continue though, there's a few things that you might have noticed that I didn't talk about. On a more minor note, I didn't talk about Piercing Blood at all, or Aerial Flowing Red Scale. Those two moves are extremely punishable and extremely unsafe. Piercing Blood has little end lag attached to it, it's basically completely safe, but it has a very noticeable startup that anybody paying attention will punish it immediately. This is actually going to be a pretty common theme with Choso. Even when he has orbs available, his moves are more punishable on their startup rather than their end lag. If you face Choso players, or perhaps you're a Choso player yourself, you will know this for sure. The best way to punish Choso is by predicting when he's going to do these high startup moves. Continuing on, the more major thing that I didn't mention is the fact that Supernova, when you have no orbs, acts as a counter. Why did I not mention this? It's because using that Supernova counter risks so much more than just waiting for your R special. You get a lot of value if you land the counter, but if you miss the counter, you're losing your evasive or you're losing half your HP. This is not a reasonable risk to take against an opponent whose M1 patterns you likely don't even know. The reward to be had is great, you can even combo extend off your counter sometimes. But is it even worth the risk? I find that 90% of my games, I don't even use this counter, I don't even think about it. If you whiff the counter and get punished, you're not only losing an evasive, you're losing your damage potential for like the next 15 seconds. Even if you evasive punish your opponent and potentially get the ult meter required to use your R special, your damage potential is just so much lower without your Supernova orbs available to you. And so I find myself just never using this counter, and I don't think you should be using it as well. That's it for Orbless Choso. There's not much to say there because you're not going to be in that mode like very often. 90% of the match you're going to have orbs available to you, but it is important to know about the best way to function when you don't have those orbs available. Let's start finally getting into the meat and potatoes of this character. When you press that R special, you will gain 4 orbs. These orbs define Choso. Choso with these orbs goes from the worst character in the game to an undisputed top 3 character. So let's talk about his moves now. I'm going to take a page out of my Mechamaru guide and I'm going to talk about the moves from most useful to least useful. And so let's start with the obvious, his Supernova. Supernova is outright the best base move in the game right now. When I tell you, this move actually just invalidates almost the entire game. This move isn't 360 blockable, and most characters just don't have the movement to contest it. If you're at mid-range and you just throw out this move, people just have to run away, they can't approach you. And it's not just the neutral presence that this move has that makes it ridiculous. Each orb does 8 damage, and over 4 uses on a 4-second cooldown, that's an effective 32 damage over 12 seconds. There isn't a single character that can match that damage output in one move. And Choso gains access to this just for pressing his R special, just for 35 damage worth of ult meter. The versatility of this move is unfounded as well. Because of the hitbox being far away from Choso, it's extremely safe to hit. Regardless of if the opponent has evasive or not, you can always be able to combo them. You're also extremely actionable. You can activate your Supernova whenever you want to, while you're M1ing, while you're using another move, anything. And because this move isn't 360 degree blockable, it just invalidates controller players. Controller players literally can't deal with this move. They can't do anything about it. So if you find yourself consistently struggling with controller players, just pick up Choso. You're gonna win every time. Another thing about Supernova that makes it ridiculously powerful, it's not considered a projectile. It's considered an explosion type attack. The same thing as Nue or Mechamaru's 3. This means that, with the exception of Manji Kick, it just goes through counters. And this is a move Choso can throw out whenever he wants to. So let's recap. This move is uncounterable, it has an effective 32 damage, it's essentially unblockable, it has no cooldown, and it denies a massive area in front of Choso. Genuinely, what else does this move need to do? And this move is going to be like the brunt of your neutral. This is why, despite how understandable it is because of how threatening Choso looks as a character, like the way he's structured, it kind of looks hard to play him at first. But in spite of that, I find it kind of crazy that people say Choso has this super high skill floor. No, he's not like that. This character plays the game for you. His neutral isn't as engaging as Megami. His gameplay loop isn't as intricate as Haruta. His combo game just doesn't get as deep as Mekamaru either. I'd even say Nanami is harder to pick up than Choso. This character does have like a little bit of a skill floor and a little bit of a skill ceiling, but it's not a Grand Canyon gap from the rest of the game. He's pretty easy to play and learn. He's pretty easy to play and use as well. And Supernova is a big part on why this character is so easy. One last thing, aside from just using Supernova yourself, getting hit by an opponent will cancel your Supernova orb immediately. So don't bet on stacking like 4 at a time and trying to hit your opponent with all 4. More than likely, it's not gonna work. Like, come on. How insane would the developers have to be in order to make a Supernova orb uncancelable? That would break this character's neutral even harder. Anyway, let's talk about Aerial Flowing Red Scale. This move takes the previous Orbless Aerial Flowing Red Scale and removes all weakness from it. All of it is gone. Aerial Flowing Red with no orb did a measly 6 damage if you wanted to combo extend. Now it does 22 damage and combo extends. Simply just Aerial Flowing Red Scale, 2 M1s, and press R. That's 22 damage off of one move that continues your combo. Maybe you thought Aerial Flowing Red Scale was too unsafe. Now, for some ungodly reason, this move is uncancelable. You can't cancel the orb. If you're M1ing the Choso while he's inside of that orb, he presses R, he escapes the combo. Yeah, he takes 15 damage, but he escapes the combo and he reverses it too. And this move has a 12-second cooldown. 12-second cooldown, 22 damage, combo extending, combo starting, combo breaking. It does everything. The move is unblockable as well. When they're expecting a side dash M1, jump side dash, use your 2 instead. You've now started a combo for what cost? Tell me how much risk you required for that. You didn't put yourself 1 millimeter in harm's way and you're getting a free combo off that. And if you didn't start the combo, your orb is still wrapped around you, keeping you nice and safe. This is a secret top 5 base move, top 3 arguably. It just does so much for no reason as well. I don't know why it does so much damage. I don't know why it does so much utility. Choso didn't need this, but he's fun anyway, so I'm not really complaining. Plus he's like the least used character for some reason. I don't know why this is the case either. In terms of use case, people treat this character like he's Hanami. That's insane to me. You'd really think Choso would be popular, but he's apparently just not. I don't see this guy in ranked ever. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I see Locust guy more than Choso. This is just my experience at higher elo. Let me know what you guys think about that. Like, if you have the same experience. It's just kind of strange to me because this character's strengths aren't hidden. It's not a secret that Supernova is ridiculous. It's not a secret that Aerial Flowing Red Scale is ridiculous. And yet, nobody uses him. I couldn't tell you. Is there anything else to talk about with Aerial Flowing Red Scale? I don't really know. I'll come back to it later if there is something. It's actually really important in Choso's combo game, but I'll talk about combos later. Usually I don't talk about combos, but some of Choso's routes aren't really intuitive or anything. It's not like the entirety of the game where you just 1, 2, 3, 4 and everything works out. So I'll be expanding more and giving it its own section of the video. Next up is Choso's 4. Blood Edge is an 11 damage combo extender. This move is generally just safe combo filler. It has no real applications in neutral, but like during your combos it's really useful. One of the more important routes that Choso has that you're going to be using really often is Aerial Flowing Red Scale into Blood Edge into Supernova. This is just a good combo that uses the orb left behind from your Aerial Flowing Red Scale, and if you want to, it can even combo into your Charged Piercing Blood. Blood Edge is generally safe on hit. Maybe against like players with lock-on, they might be able to get you, but if you're just fighting a regular PC player, they're not going to be able to punish you often. And if you find that people are managing to punish you, you can just flick the move, making it even harder to punish. One more thing about Blood Edge, it's a pretty popular move to use on Wake Up because of the fact that if you whiff, it's basically safe, and if they block it, you have a chance of being safe or being taken away by the Blood Edge. Though good players can react and just punish you for that. But if you have nothing available, you can go for it. Those 3 moves that I talked about already, in Aerial Flowing Red Scale, in Supernova, and in Blood Edge, those 3 moves kind of just make up Choso. Like, if Choso only had those 3 moves, he'd likely still be in the upper echelon of the game. There's just a ridiculous amount of value and of synergy in those 3 moves, and while Piercing Blood and Grounded Flowing Red Scale are really good moves themselves, they're just nowhere near necessary like those other 3 moves are. I could definitely do without Grounded Flowing Red Scale. I don't need that in my kit in order to do well in ranked. And oftentimes in matches, I just don't even use it. Let's talk about Grounded Flowing Red Scale first because it's way more simple than Piercing Blood. Grounded Flowing Red Scale is a little dash move that deals 17 damage. That's really powerful. And it picks up ragdolls and combos at M1s, making it function as a really good executing option. If my opponent is at a low HP, 3 M1s into this Flowing Red Scale, that's 27 damage. 27 damage is unevasiveable on Choso. That's a really powerful move. That's almost a third of any 85 HP character's HP, and it's almost half of Haruta's. This move's best use case is just being used as an executing option, kind of similar to Naoya's Bleed Out. You just use it on a low HP opponent and just kill them. But that's really kind of it for this move. The move is short and stubby, it's very punishable on block and on whiff, and its knockback distance is very unfavorable for how Choso likes to combo. Not to mention, it only deals 1 more damage than using your Aerial Flowing Red Scale with no M1s. So combo-wise, there's really no reason to ever use this over Aerial Flowing Red Scale. Still a good move like I said, it's just that its use cases are just so much lower. With so much less versatility, you can understand why it's so much less used than Supernova, than Aerial Flowing Red Scale, than Blood Edge. It's not matching up to those titans. Now we have the final move to talk about, and it's going to be Choso's Piercing Blood. Piercing Blood is a decently ranged beam with moderate combo potential and deals 12 damage. It has essentially 0 end lag, but it has a short little start that you can punish Choso for. And outside of that, there's actually nothing really to talk about for this move. Uncharged Piercing Blood is solely used as combo filler. The move serves no other purpose. There's no text with the move, there's nothing interesting you can do with it. It's just combo filler and only combo filler. And because of its very noticeable startup, this is a move you can't rely on to combo with safely. And this is because knowing when your opponent will gain evasive is pretty difficult to predict in this game now. Beyond the fact that your opponent attacking you will also give them evasive, when you're above 50 HP, not 50% HP, but just 50 HP, you have to deal more damage or take more damage in order to fill up that evasive bar to its maximum. And if you're below 50 HP, you gain evasive faster. This makes evasives a lot more unpredictable than what they were months ago. Because before, the damage required to fill up your evasive bar, it was just a set number. You could always predict when your opponent had evasive, even if they did M1 you a few times, or get you in a combo a few times. That's not the case no more, and it's why Piercing Blood becomes a lot more dangerous to just use. It's still usable, of course, it's just more unsafe. Still, it serves its function well, and it's a good combo filler. 12 damage is still very high damage. Plus, it keeps the opponent nice and close, letting Choso mix up however he wants to. Something that I can't really say for Grounded Flowing Red Scale and the next move that I'm going to talk about, Choso's Charged Piercing Blood. This move has honestly lost more and more value the more and more that I play Choso in this environment of the game. The only role for this move is to be a combo ender, but I don't really find myself combo ending with this option really ever. The main reason for this is because I don't want my opponent to be far away with their evasive now. I want them to be close to me and able to waste their evasive for me to put them in another combo. Choso's cooldowns are so short to where pressure will almost always be on the opponent. I'll always have Supernova available, I'll always have Aerial Flowing Red Scale available, and in that case, I don't want my opponent to be that far away to where I can't keep up the pressure on them. It also allows them to regenerate their HP a little more. As the Choso player, I just don't want that. There's no real incentive for me to really use this Charged Piercing Blood, outside of it just looking really cool. The second reason I don't really use it is because the damage it deals isn't really that impressive. There's not very many situations where the opponent is at 20 or less HP, and they're almost at their evasive, and I'm able to set them up into a position where I'm able to use that Charged Piercing Blood. Clocking this kind of situation as it happens is just not really feasible. It's already a pretty rare situation to fall into organically, but to instantly understand that using your Charged Piercing Blood is going to be the most valuable play there, it's not going to happen. What I end up doing instead of using Charged Piercing Blood and what feels more valuable is just using a regular Piercing Blood and then Supernovaing afterwards. This is the same 20 damage that Charged Piercing Blood does, but just with more reward. The opponent remains close to you and you're able to continue comboing if they don't have evasive. For this reason, it's almost never better to use Charged Piercing Blood. So weirdly enough, this move that used to be a pillar of Choso's kit, a move that you basically always ended your combos with and made your opponent go to red HP because of it, I find myself just not even using this Charged Piercing Blood anymore. It's sad to see, but Choso is still top 3 without it anyway. Now that we're done talking about all of his moves, let's move on to talking about his combos. Choso has a lot of pretty cool routes and ways to get extra damage that you can employ. We already talked about this one, but Aerial Flowing Red Scale into 2 extra M1s, that makes the move by itself deal 22 damage. An alternative route you can take after your Aerial Flowing Red Scale is using a Blood Edge and aiming it towards the Supernova Orb. By doing this, you lose the extra damage from the M1s, but you gain extra safety in the routes that you can take after that Blood Edge. This is because the Aerial Flowing Red Scale with M1's combo route will have the opponent kind of flat on their back on the floor. This will make evasive punishing a lot more easy for the opponent. This route also focuses a lot more on untrue combos because there's no guaranteed 100% way of getting a Blood Edge off of a ragdolled opponent. You can get up theory a Blood Edge while also going around their back to try and increase the chances of it hitting, but it's never going to be guaranteed, making it just a generally riskier option. The other option you have, which is way more risky and might be preferential if you don't have any moves available, is attempting to get up theory with just your M1s. Choso is the only character where I find that get up theory M1s have value in them. And it's just because of how many times he's able to freely create these scenarios because of his Supernova Orbs. Let's say you just use your Aerial Flowing Red Scale, you just use your Blood Edge to combo into the Supernova Orb. If the opponent evasives and you manage to hit them with a Supernova, sometimes you don't even want to go for your Piercing Blood. It might be better to just risk going for the get up theory M1s, in order to just run down that cooldown for your 2 and for your 4. By the way, when I say Get Up Theory M1s, I don't mean making the M1s a true combo off of the ground. Any combo that requires Get Up Theory M1s to be read, they're never going to be useful. Instead, Get Up Theory M1s are just hitting the opponent right when they wake up, and then getting around whatever option they choose after waking up. The opponent is just in a disadvantage when they're in that position. Get Up Theory M1s being read should not be treated as a common occurrence, because that shit never happens. In my eyes, it should be treated as the JJS equivalent of hitting a Black Flash. Because that's honestly what it is. Along with needing impeccable timing, you need your ping to be in your favor, you need the opponent's ping to be in your favor. That's just not feasible, at least to do it consistently. So don't think about it too hard or expect anything from it, but when you do hit it, just take the value you can get from it. Also, it's way easier to hit Get Up Theory on dummies, so don't expect the same success rate that you can find in a private server to one that you'll find in a real match. Get Up Theory aside, let's go back to what I was talking about with the aerial flowing red scale Blood Edge route. This route does a little less damage, but is more true and is more safe for the Choso. This is because after using your Blood Edge and your aerial flowing red scale, you'll be left with just your Supernova and your Piercing Blood. Spacing Piercing Blood makes it safe, and Supernova has like no end lag, meaning if you react or expect your opponent's evasive, you can just block. This route can also lead into a charged Piercing Blood if you want to try doing that instead. You can also do it out of an uppercut too. Like I said though, I wouldn't really recommend using Charged Piercing Blood, but if you do want to do it like really badly, then go ahead and do it. One more thing, after leading the opponent back to the Supernova Orb after a flowing red scale, you can jump and hit the opponent with an M1 as they're coming down. Just a little extra 3 damage. The last thing to talk about before we move on, I didn't end up naming a specific high damage true combo, but that's because I just don't think the combo itself is very important. The individual parts of the combo are way more important than like just naming a full combo for people to replicate. Because if you understand the pieces, you won't need me to name that full combo. I do know that some people might really want it, so I'm gonna just name it right now. It'll be up on screen right now, and I think this combo does like, it does 78 damage, which is definitely quite a bit. Choso still does a ton of damage. This is basically it for the video. I didn't do any fights this time because I needed to get this video out as soon as possible. Because like, if I didn't upload today, I don't know when I would have uploaded. Big thanks to my cool members. If you feel like supporting me too, you can click the join button down below. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'm signing off now. See y'all in the next one.